Art, Banaras Hindu University, Michigan State University, and Maryland Institute College of Art, Baltimore, USA. For today's presentation, welcoming all of you. And Dr. Nisa Pandey is Associate Professor and Dean Research and Publication and Chairperson, Unit Social Business Center at Vivekanand Education Society, Mumbai. And Dr. Pandey has worked in various interdisciplinary research projects in several institutes of international repute like Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, Management Development Institute, Gurgaon, Arcot Butler Technology University Institute at Kanpur, and she is managing editor of Journal of Development Research, which is released by VS Institute of Management with ISSN number. Very warm welcome, ma'am, and very good evening to all of you also. And
thank you, sir.
Today's topic is social enterprise for women. Now I'm requesting to ma'am, please start your presentation.
Thank you, sir, for warm welcome and my wonderful introduction. Thank you, Ajanta ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to share my little understanding about social innovation and women empowerment by creating social enterprise. So we are talking about our focus is social innovation and our focus is women empowerment. So I will try to club two things together, and fundamental is to go beyond economic objective for individual and collective transformation. So how individual transformation and collective transformation is possible through social innovation with the mediating effect of creating social enterprise for social and economic empowerment of women. So this is a little bit about myself, which doctor has already given my introduction. I again welcome to all of you in this journey of 1.5 hours. And, you know, in our Bharati approach, in Indian approach, we always talked about Panch Mahayagna. Means traditionally we talk about seva. And never, profit was never the motive of Indian system. And the highest human approach was to do seva and to do social welfare, and which can create impact in the society and which will be helpful for creating knowledge economy and the creation of knowledge and dissemination of knowledge, which is always in mission mode. Mission means when you do have a purpose is more important than the profit, when the value and the system is more important than the making money. And that is all about the social enterprises, that is all about social entrepreneurship. So in Indian system, always there is a two path of life: the path of pleasant, that is Priya, and the path of good, that is Shreya. So Priya, which everyone likes, Priya, which is not based on ethics, but everyone likes, can appreciate. But Shreya is the path of Shrestha, which is Dharma Yukta, which is value based, and which is the core of social enterprise, which give purpose to everyone and which serve the society for well-being and for the bigger purpose, which is not religious, but it is more related to which give a harmony with yourself and the society and with the bigger collective purpose, which comes under the ethics of care. We talk about care. When ethics of care, that is context based and which is where motivation is more toward the serving society, motivation is more towards caring the society, it is economy, it is society, it is environment. So when comprehensive talk about the caring is the foundation of morality, caring is the foundation of development, caring is the foundation of business. When the caring is the foundation of business, automatically the triple bottom line of ethics will automatically taken care by the organization, by the foundation, by the founder, either it's by NGO or it's a cooperative or social enterprise. So caring is the universal human attribute, which Nodding asserted that the caring relationship is which people act in caring manner, which is ethically and basic, which work for the human development, which is work with the social capital, the social development. So, in this connection, when you talk about the path of perfection, you never get the path of perfection. But the path of perfection is a kind of subtle concept. When you think that the consciousness expand in every direction to serve the purpose of welfare of the society and the women and the marginalized people, those who are suffering either by the social structure or by the social system or the social or the societal structure, when these are few are suffering in the society, then you will see there is imperfection. But the greater purpose, when you are working for the greater purpose, some extraordinary projects and the thought which will break the bond, which will break the glass ceiling, and when your mind transacts the limitation, your consciousness expand in every direction, and then you find you start doing something else. And that is the concept of social enterprise, which work with the concept of social innovation. So I will talk about more on how this path of perfection, where you lead to the social innovation through the process. And the social innovation is not always a technological driven. It is a process driven. It is a system. It is driven by your morality. It's driven by the emotion. It's driven when you serve the society by giving value and meaning to the society. And that work that comes when you have harmony with the existence. If someone is suffering in the society, if someone is requires something from you, from the society, from the government, and there is no harmony. Harmony is possible, harmony when you are attached with the problem of society. When you feel the problem of society, and when you feel the problem of society, then only you can create some opportunity. So there's no need to creating the opportunity. Opportunities are there. For example, drinking water. Poor are forced to drink polluted drinking water because they cannot buy the bottled water. They cannot afford bottle drinking water. But if a social entrepreneur, if he has harmony with the system, if he wants to serve the society, can create something which is cost effective, which will provide clean drinking water to the bottom of the pyramid. And that is the example of harmony with the existence. If you have harmony with the existence, if you have feeling for the poor, if you have feeling for the marginalized, so if you can't create clean water, but certainly you can create such water cooler which will serve the society of marginalized people who can get clean drinking water. So that is a harmony of existence. So we have n number of example of India and abroad who have worked, who have sensitivity towards the society, sensitivity towards the marginalized people, sensitivity towards the women, to serve, to give them help to grow. Anshu Gupta is one of the example. He has started Goonj, who has distributed old clothes to the poor people who are really suffering in the cold weather. They do have food, they do have water, but they don't have clothes to wear in that weather. Chetna Gala Sinha, she has started a bank for the rural women, and she has started bank for the women who were interested to save money, but banker were not giving them a saving account because they told that you are not credit worthy. So she said the women and the poor are more credit worthy and they don't need poor solution. So poor never want a poor solution. Poor need a better solution. And that's what she is doing. She has started a management institute which is in a wheel, and she is giving training to the women in the village over the period in every weekend in the wheel. Everyone knows about the Arunachalam, who has started the business for the poor rural women about the sanitary napkin, and he was discarded, or he was insulted from his own family, because in the Indian society, in Indian system, in the culture, men are not supposed to know more about the women hygiene, and this is the social uh, structure of our society. And that's how, when he started working and innovating some cost effective machine, and he was not respected from the society, but overall over the period of time he has created a machine, he has created cost effective product, and now women are working in his organization. Professor Yunus, everyone knows he has started Grameen Bank, and that is only he started his work by giving $27 for the women to start microfinance, because women were suffering, and this landowner and the money lender, they were exploiting the women. So, Bankar Roy is one of the finest example of India who has created Barefoot College, and the Barefoot College is an example where he has created a change which is very different. He take faculty member who are not graduate, who are either dropout or the failed, and he is giving training to the women of village and the grandma for making engineers, and they are doctors, they are engineers, they are solar engineers, and that's how he is creating impact in the society. That is example of social innovation. That is example where these all are creating impact, creating change in the society by just supporting, by giving them a platform, by giving them training, by giving them a process where they can make meaning out of these programs, where they can make their livelihood out of this support. So there are a number of examples. So with this context, if we see, because I have discussed about, I'm talking about the women empowerment from the beginning, from 1947, from the first plan from India when it was discussed as a women in development. So that was a welfare approach, because women are not involved in development. So it was a kind of charity. It was a kind of that, yeah, I need to do something for women. So that approach was emphasizing to integrate women in development process. Then the approach changed, and then they involve women as a woman and development. So women, and there should be emphasized on distinct nature of women, knowledge, work, goal, responsibility. So the approach changed from women in development to women and development, and then women gender. Then they classified as gender as a development, and this approach focused on constructing the difference and unequal relationship between women and men. And that's how this transformation changed from women in development to that was a welfare approach to the empowerment approach. What is the difference between welfare approach and empowerment approach is that here welfare approach means women as they are supposed to be, that they need welfare, they need support, they need some external approach to satisfy, to give them value, to give them power. But empowerment means take them in the mainstream and make an institutional approach and make the policy where women are equally taking part in any developmental activities, and they should be in a position to make a difference in the society. So this approach is coming out in mainstream, and there are various projects, and there are various research has been done, and a very famous researcher in this women empowerment is a Kabir, who has defined women empowerment as a ability to make a strategic life choice where that ability had been previously denied them. That is, so a strategic life choice, if she can do, then we can say it is empowerment. So if we see the dimension of empowerment, it is not only the economic empowerment. You can't give money and say you are empowered. You can't say that you are living good life and you are empowered. So I have many examples that many times women are given a good position in her husband's office, a big car and big office, but she is not able to take decision because that position is given because of her husband, because he is earning, and because she wants something, and the husband has given her office and a big car and big position, but she's not involved in decision making. And in this situation, I have many examples when women says, no, I can't work in this environment, because she's not finding meaning in that kind of work. So it's not only economic empowerment, it's a psychological empowerment when believed to improve their individual reality. Cognitive empowerment when understanding the condition and cause of their subordination, their contribution in the life. Physical means gaining control your body and your production ability of oneself. And the political empowerment, when capability to analyze and organize and mobilize social change. So this is empowerment is not only the economic empowerment, it's a totality. She can feel, she can contribute. That is the dimension of empowerment. And when she can raise self-esteem and say eliminate the discrimination and violence and building partnership with the civil society, the provision of resource for self-employment, when she can provide all these things, that would be a contribution. We can say that society is empowering women when we say that she has some legal provision, she has contribution, and her contribution is accepted, recognized, and having value. That is the parameter of women empowerment in the Indian context. Maybe in other countries, yes, some approach could be different, but yes, in Indian context, the structure of society is very different. So when we see the approaches of and gender equality, so when we identify a well-defined pathway that connect innovation to empowerment, when it is using pathway to the process of powerful innovation that change women's life, maybe it is a use of technology, maybe it's a use of social norm and economic resilience, that will certainly help to women empowerment through innovative approach. And so how can we do innovation? How can we empower through the social innovation? That I will discuss now again in this my further discussion. So how is dynamic and interaction of social change that is possible through innovation, that is possible through context and timing? What is innovation system, diffusion, and women empowerment and gender equality? When we talk about innovation, which emphasize about the opportunity that innovation and wider social change. Opportunity, so here I will talk about, so opportunity, sometimes you get the opportunity, sometimes you see the opportunity, sometimes you create the opportunity. So one of the finest example I would talk about here, the El Reno is an example where the dung, buffalo dung and rhinoceros dung was used by one of the entrepreneur. Her name is Nisha. Her name is also Nisha, and she has started using that dung uh, for making papers. And these paper are used in various institutions and used. And the women from the village, they are working in this institution, in this organization. So the waste which was not attracted, which was not taken care by any other, but this lady has taken it as an opportunity, and that she has done some R&D and created an organization based on this waste material. So the emphasizing the opportunity that innovation and wider social change, how it is possible. Advancing social and economic progress as well as addressing the need of underserved and engaging them directly in innovation process. Here I have seen many women, even girls, pass out from IIT Bombay and other IITs and even other management institute. They have not taken job, and they have started working for social innovation. I met one lady. She has done MTech from BITS Pilani, and now she is very good in designing and innovation. What she has done, she told me that she liked traveling. So she traveled to Kanha Kisli Park and other forest area, and then she found the men, they get job in the hotel, the men they get job in other transportation, and they create meaning. And the tendency of men is always to switch the job. They are always looking for new opportunity. They are always looking for new things. And another thing is the men are always can shift from one place to another place because they don't have responsibility of household. They don't have resource constraint as women have. So this is the opportunity which create women more motivation, give her more motivation. And that's how this lady created an organization where women are involved for creating some kind of jewelry out of some waste material, creating some cushions, creating some household um, decorative material. And now she has 4 organizations, and her organization is supported by by forestry department, by tourism department. So here what I'm emphasizing is that opportunities are there, and you need only motivation. You need to see the situation differently. So emphasizing not only the progress and social change, but how you can create social justice based on your element of innovation, element of thinking differently. So the debate is around these questions are whether innovation of any type is a prerequisite for social enterprise, whether the social innovation are necessary for SE survival and development, are social innovation an integral part of social business model? At what stage their organizational life cycle, social innovation become essentials? So there are different questions where we can integrate social entrepreneurship and social innovation and women empowerment. So the context factor is that when we cover multiple political, economic, social, and technological environment spectrum, legislative policy, social movement, macroeconomic trend, and the trade agreement and the educational attainment, infrastructure, that all will support to create some social enterprise and social innovation. And the basic of social innovation and social context and social enterprise happen in some context when the state and market failed. For example, if we take the nutrition of in some area, nutrition among the children, in some area we find that the government is not able to provide or to satisfy the nutritional level among the children, and that's how the rate of attending the class is reducing. So what is the solution? Whether you wait for the some intervention from the government and you keep on waiting, something someday will come and the government will take some initiative and will give some input, and this nutritional problem can change. Another way is when someone who is really sensitive for the society can do something, and that is the example of Euglena, when the Grameen Bank and the Grameen Bank worked with some of the organization and created some. He has produced some biscuit with the help of some algae and some nutritional pulses, and then this biscuit were created and distributed to the villages, and that's how when they discuss pre and post development among the student, they found that the rate of attending the schools by the children had increased because the nutritional level, concentration level has changed a lot. And that's how they are making the change in the society. That's how they're creating change in the society. So there are various factors which we can discuss, but we have a limited time, so I will talk about how social entrepreneurship are changing the society, are making difference in the society. We know there are some differences, some problem in the society, and that's how we are talking about 17 Sustainable Development Goal. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals start with the poverty, hunger, women empowerment, the peace and the power and the water, sanitation, everything. So how these disparities and the social disparity are creating imbalance in the society, and that is again a motivating factor to create some change in the society. If so, it was observed that in the development sector, only the economic development has been always discussed, but the social sector is is not in the mainstream. And now this in this coming time, the economists, the sociologists, they are talking about social development. That's how they are talking about in the literature, with the human development, with the human capital. The social capital is very much discussed nowadays to how to create social capital to empower the women and creating social change. So when we see the field of social entrepreneurship, gender is in two broad ways. first is examining impact of women entrepreneur on the society and social issues. And the second is the social entrepreneurship as a platform for empowering women and achieving gender equality. So two things can be broadly discussed based on creating empowerment and creating a social change in the society. So we assume that the social entrepreneurship allows women to make a significant inroad towards the gender equality and the bottom and the top of economic pyramid. So if we see the how social enterprise work, how social entrepreneur work, they create social value, they contribute in economic development, they contribute in community development. As we know, I have discussed about many social entrepreneurs, they are self-motivated and nobody comes to tell them come and do something. They see the situation, they see the imbalance, they see the injustice in the society, and this injustice create them, motivate them to do some social thing. I will explain this thing from this figure, how this social change happen and how these social entrepreneur create the change. So generally, if I have given example of this malnutrition or I've given example of this water pollution, people don't think that they are in the problem because they identify that is a stable situation. They think that my position is like that. I am meant to be like that. So the people living in same, they have accepted their situation. So when the social change maker, they see this situation, they feel unrest. They feel that this is not the justice for them. So they develop social value proposition and they challenge social stability and they develop new solution by testing and refining and scaling. And then they give a new equilibrium to the society, and that transition change from here to here. So new equilibrium, initially the society or maybe the problem people living in, they are in the stable equilibrium, although it is unjust, but they think that unjust is their destiny, unjust is their uh, they have to live in this situation. But if you see it is how social entrepreneur, because they see the problem indifferently, they are unrest people, they want to change the change, and they, because they are unreasonable, and they create some model, they create some proposition, and they propose some new equilibrium. uh, Example here, if I say, very famous example is Akshay Patra. Akshay Patra is mainly working for removing hunger. So one of the devotee of ISKCON, he saw that a boy was eating thrown out food, and that was a moment make him sensitized that at least from my one temple to 10 kilometer, a student should not, a person, a child should not be hungry. And that is the foundation of creating Akshay Patra, where the person, the student should get food and should be hunger, and because of hunger, because of food, a student should not leave education system. So that was the stable situation of hunger, but he created a new solution model, new model for the hunger, and created a new equilibrium. Now, Akshay Patra, with the government, midday meal is providing meal to thousands of schools, and serving the society and reducing hunger and malnutrition. So how this work has been done? They study systematically, they identify the people with innovative ideas, the social impact through the sustainable project, they describe the function in society, and adopt a mission to create a sustainable social value. So when we see the women empowerment, women can take and do, the women who are doing, example of Ila Bhatt, she has created a big change in the society by creating social value and social impact by collecting women and creating cooperative. It is one of the classic example. So she saw that there is unrest, there is unjust in the society because women were not organized, and the women were not getting job in the organized sector. Only male were getting a job in the organized sector, so there was unjust. So she systematically identified and she learned the situation, and then she learned how to do the social impact through sustainable projects, and they described their function in the society, and then she adopted a mission to create social value through the Seva organization. So how it is possible? It is possible through co-creation. It is possible through communication and calibration. You cannot do alone. Women cannot do anything alone. So co-creation is important. You should have stakeholders. So stakeholder which should have a clear understanding and stake in the stakeholder in the organization and your purpose. Then communicate that social innovation. So how to communicate social innovation? When you have commitment, you have a social impact, and you have a social context and culture. So to meet the challenge, when you have a low awareness, you have a skepticals and low understanding, then to meet out these things, social challenges, meet the communication message to create social changes. And then how calibration makes social innovation? When you understanding the situation, see the usefulness of your idea, see the usefulness of your proposition, and then see how the notion of stakeholders sense the proposition what you are suggesting. So the example, another example is I have given a Ila Bhatt example, or the Manrishi Bank Foundation, or the Teach for India, which has created from Sain Mistry. She has created a change in the rural India and the slum area where students they are not going to school, and she has created a organization where anyone can teach student after his or her job time. So that's how she has created another proposition, which is which do not require much investment, which do not require much time, which do not require much investment, but can create social innovation, which create social impact, and which will shift the stable equilibrium to the next unjust to justified in equilibrium. So the question is, how can sustainable entrepreneurship policy framework ensure women empowerment? So in India, we do not have a sustainable entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship policy. How can sustainable livelihood be attained by the women and the community through social enterprise? And how can social capital inclusion in social enterprise ensure sustainable community development? So it is not possible if the person is doing alone. For that, a community-based enterprise is always helping to make a sustainable enterprise and which make women empowerment. And here, if you see the self-help group, which are made by very small contribution and women who are living in rural area or even the urban area, but they have a small mission, they have an objective, and they are working together, and that is a synergy of their energy, and they are contributing to make a change in their society. So that's how they are reducing poverty, they are reducing inequality, and they are creating sustainability in the society. If we look at how it works in a micro level, it works in meso level, it works in a macro level. So if we see in a micro level, both social indicator and the economic indicator, it works in the micro level when individual participate, trust, association, membership, it work together, and it work with the firm, it work with the buyer's relationship. And when the women work in the totality with the group and with the community, and then the micro level environment and the micro level ecosystem work, and that create a collective learning, and that is meso level skill, knowledge, education. So they create a community of knowledge. So Mavim is the best example, which is Mavim, Kudumshri. Kudumshri is example, which is a Kerala model working for the women empowerment, and there are lots of projects of training, development, and empowering, creating enterprises. Mavim is a project supported by state livelihood mission, and the Kerala, that is from Maharashtra. Kudumshri is a model of Kerala. such models are everywhere in India, supported by the government, and that is the institutional partnership, that is a public-private partnership, which promote entrepreneurship and which promote women empowerment. So micro level per one individual effort, meso level, that is a skill, knowledge, education, which help to promote self-help group, to promote community, and to work and to create social capital with the human capital, and that help in social inclusion and cohesion at micro level, which certainly help in industrial development, which help in GDP, state, civil society relationship. So, and here both intangible factor and tangible factor both work to promote women from the micro level to the macro level. And that is so how women empowerment through social entrepreneurship, when there is a social trust, that will possible through the micro level, through the meso level and micro level, inclusion and cohesion, then the trust can be built, then collective learning is possible. And when the trust and collective learning is there, then social cohesion. Social cohesion, if you are creating social enterprise, you certainly need a big team. You certainly need investment. You certainly need a structure. And because in the social enterprise, the investment is always very less. In social enterprise, because it is a purpose driven, it is a not a profit driven. So when it is a purpose driven organization, then cohesion and trust is very important. And here, voluntary involvement is very important, because stakeholders, profit will come later when it is sustainable or in the organizational life cycle. In which stage? It is never possible in the initial stage of an organizational life cycle. Um, Profit will never come. So anyway, in social enterprise, since profit is not the purpose, profit is not the motive. So in organizational life cycle, profit or maybe the revenue for the just for the sustaining the enterprise comes in the organizational life cycle in the growth stage. So the development project with the individual and with the collective engagement, which create social capital, which create human capital, which create ethical capital. And that is very important for when we are talking about social entrepreneurship and empowering women through social innovation and social enterprise. So this social capital, which inclusion for sustainable development, it create a social economy with the help of social entrepreneurship, with the help of social capital and social enterprise, which reduces transaction cost, production cost, which help for trust, reciprocity, norms and value, which create economic value, which collect social welfare. So social enterprise, social capital, social entrepreneurship, these three things collectively create social economy where welfare and the development is the main motive of the system. So the rising of women to position of leadership in social entrepreneurship is now progressing, and connecting women with the non-economic goal and social entrepreneurship is creating a belief that women are also can create a environment ecosystem where they can create livelihood, they can create a system uh, where they don't need support from men to make them empowered. So so that is the purpose of social innovation, by creating various community-based organization, capacity building, and creating norms which will help in creating social cohesion, women empowerment, and which will create a new ecosystem where women can break all the glass ceiling, and she will come forward to do some social change. And that is happening where government is intervening by providing various scheme. And in India there is a national mission of women empowerment. This Ministry of Women Empowerment is creating and providing various platform to women, various system, various schemes where women can showcase their achievement. So government is doing capacity building training, that is STEP, market linkage program, that is eHeart, and another many program which is working for empowering women and providing them opportunity to involve in entrepreneurship. So the empowerment means what? Again, after entrepreneurship, after capacity building, after training, women are contributing more in economic security. Women are working more and increasing, giving a contribution in the family. And that's how the family structure, family quality of life has been changed drastically. So now, for achieving what need to be done, what need to be taken care from the women and from the society, from the system, that knowing what to do, knowing how to do it, and knowing how well you are doing. So it is suggested from the institutions, it is suggested from the policymakers to make them aware how significant she can contribute to make change, to make a change in society, and how other skill can make them more powerful. There are many examples. I have taken here a case study of Udyogini. Udyogini is busy in training, providing training and development. They establish micro enterprises. They are market linkages. The El Reno is a handicraft luxury paper, which is stationery product and packaging material. It is made of recycling. It is made of elephant dung. It is paper production chain, and it is made of handmade paper. And it is appreciated by all over the world, and it has a market not only in India, in the world. So only women are working in this organization. Another is interesting topic which generally women don't want to talk about menstruation, but this lady, she has created a Menstrupedia, a comic where she has explained all the process of menstruation, and she has created an organization and given job to the women, and that's how she is working to reduce the taboos of uh, social structure and created opportunity for doing job, for creating livelihood. So Akshapatra, how the social innovation takes place and how empowering women and the society has been done. So undernourishment among children, the get rid of classroom hunger, then they have done public-private partnership, they address malnutrition, and then here the market failed, here the state failed. So state had partnership, center had partnership for the removing malnutrition, and then they supported the right to education for the children. They began school and they started with a 1,500 student, and now they are working for no child in India they shall be deprived of education because of hunger. So the hunger is, if you see how these are the drivers. Sustainable development goals are the driver of social innovation. You take any SDG goal, 17 SDG goal with the 169 sub goals. So there are issues and there are solutions for the issues. And if you see, the one example is Pashu Pakshi. This lady started roaming around to see the problem of women in the forest area. And in the forest area, she found the opportunity that they can create such kind of product. They can create. Can I ask the time remaining, or how much time do I have? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Nisha, you have time.
Okay, okay. So, that this Pashu Pakshi, they have created a enterprise for the women who were looking for the meaning in the life. They were always looking for a small amount of money from their husband, and then these women created change. They created a partnership with the wildlife non-profit organization, with the MP Tourism, and they created a relevant product which was sold online, which was sold offline, which was sold for the tourist. And that's how these women are now making a market support for them. And then they have improved the quality of life. They have created impact in their society. They have created impact in their household. They have created impact in the social structure. Guna Quilling, Miss Chandrasekharan, she told me, I interviewed her. She told that she was searching meaning in the life because she has some problems, so she can't move a lot. So she was searching meaning in her life, and she started learning quilling. And then quilling, she started greeting card frames and the wedding backdrop. And then she told me that she has created meaning in her life, as well as she has started giving job to other women of their society. And she has trained around 2,000 women for the quilling craft. And then she has created environment. And then she told that she want to create a city for the quilling. And she got prize about Nari Shakti Puraskar 2017. She was called from Bal Kalyan Puraskar 2019. She empowered around 42. She created around 423139990 job, and she created SSG, and she has created technology, and she has created upliftment program in the village. So there is no a ready-made system that someone will come and will tell you, madam, because you are suffering, because you are not empowered, because you are not taken or involved in the decision making in the family. No, it is not going to happen. You have to take your own charge. You have to take your own responsibility. And when you, so some mission should be there. If you are derived by some mission and you want to change something for yourself and something for others, that is the mission that will give you meaning. And that's how, if you want to change in the system, in the society, then you can do some work. So how social innovation create change and create welfare in the society? So for society and individual, you can provide service. For the government or for industry. So the system is required, and of course system also has to support to make you more empowered. So system support, but the first step has to taken by you itself. When you will take first step, when you take, then the support will be there, then the society is there, then the industry is there, then the government is there. So the model is that when you take responsibility, when you take organization as your mission. So how it works? This work as when you have a goal, when you have a proposition, and then this collective effort with the association of society, with the association of women, with the association of SSG, with the collective effort, both from internal factors and the external factor, with the internal stakeholder and the external stakeholder, and then with the collective effort, with the dynamic learning, when the action is taken, when the action is proposed, when the action is delivered, then something with the happens with the effort of entrepreneurial quality, with the entrepreneurial approach. And with this process, the social and innovation empowerment is possible. Empowerment of women empowerment is possible. So the recommendation of this, that assessment of the need of the beneficiaries is important. If you all at all you are working for the social welfare and working for the empowerment. So if I take one example here, need assessment. In UP, two students from IIT Kanpur, they started a business of flowers. So waste, the flower which is offered in the temple, in the Gurdwara and other ritual places. And these flowers were usually after end of the day thrown out in the river. And so how this problem was multiplying. The problem of waste of flower, the problem of water pollution, the problem of creating disease because of the rotten flowers. Then these two students, they identified the issues, they identified the opportunity, they identified how they can create opportunity out of this problem. And they started collecting these waste flowers. From the evening, they collect flower from all over the city, from temple, from Gurdwara, from other places. And then they started segregating flower, and they found that there is a big opportunity, and they started giving job to the women of rural India, rural North India, UP. And this, after segregation of flower, they dried it with the machine, with the technology, the help of technology. And then this business is getting importance all over the world. They are making sticks, fragrance, they are making perfumes, and with the modern packaging, they are selling this product. So the level of change which they made is level number one. They collected waste material. They collected unused flower. They collected the flower which was thrown in the water. Number one. Number two, they solved the problem of water pollution. They solved the problem of collecting waste flower and throwing into water. Number two. Then they started drying. They started drying, and they started employing women. And now the women are happy. They have their meaning. They are earning, and they are creating. So here the very important thing in social enterprise, whether you are creating impact. So you are doing, whether you are creating impact, or you are just claiming impact. So social entrepreneurs are always, they don't claim value, they create value. And that's how they are creating value. And when women are earning money, they are improving literacy rate. And with the income, their training module can be developed, and the proper acknowledgement of training is possible, and their follow-up training is required. And of course, platform for their product, that is e-platform at the consumer level, is very important. So nowadays, women are working in the village, women are working in the area. Another example is painting of the various places like Madhubani painting or the painting of Maharashtra. These paintings are very, very beautiful paintings, and but the marketing of this painting is difficult. Many women, they are working as a bridge between the market and between these women who were creating this drawing, and artisans are creating value and making paintings. These women are buying these paintings, and they are providing e-platform, and they are selling their paintings. So they are creating a value, they are creating a meaning, and they are giving a purpose to the women, and they are drawing their culture, which is diminishing. They are proposing, and they're spreading all over the world. And so technology is not only the innovation. The process is also very helpful in social innovation. Conceptualizing the process and serving that the problem, and providing a solution which is not very difficult, which is possible through the very nominal ways and cost effective with the simple technology, is also a base of providing women a platform and sustainable development for the sustainability of social and economic society. So that is from my side. I have written 3 books on social entrepreneurship. That is building a model of change, achieving sustainability through social entrepreneurship. Another is social and economic empowerment of women. That is entrepreneurial approach. I have given many examples in these books related to social innovation and social entrepreneurship. Now I will open for the question and answer. Thank you very much.
Manish, can we ask a question?
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable input and presentation. One question came from one of the participants, Jayanti Bhattacharya. Ma'am,
Okay.
how can the gap between rich and poor will be reduced?
Okay. That is a question always it is there in the system and people keep on asking. See, the gap between poor and rich can be reduced if people get the opportunity. People will do the work without comparing. You know, rich, we should not compare with the rich and poor. That is my understanding. Poor should get opportunity from the rich. There should be enough opportunity for the each class of society based on the skill. For example, if educated people will work as a CEO, educated lady can join a company as a CEO or as a manager. But what about uneducated? So uneducated people, uneducated women should not think that I am uneducated, I cannot work as a manager, I cannot work as a CEO. So better to be entrepreneur. If whatever you know, learn, training, development, with the existing opportunity, with the existing knowledge, if that's why the short-term courses are there, that's why some vocational trainings are there. So women, those who are not highly qualified, they should not blame that because I am not educated, so I cannot earn money. So there is a gap between rich and poor. So the gap is there, of course. But if uneducated, if have passion to work, will do some vocational training 1 week, 1 month, and start doing some work. So gradually gap can be reduced. It is not possible to immediately gap will reduce. Government will come, will pour money. Government is doing that thing. Government is giving money. Government is providing opportunity. Government has schemes. Lots of schemes are there, women empowerment, national mission of women empowerment, but women are not taking money. I have examples. The government that want that women should come, should apply for the some project funding, but women are not applying for the funding. They have fear that how I'm going to return the money, how I'm going to give back money. So this fear is there. So instead of that fear, whatever you know, start working with association, collaborate, associate, co-create. Then gradually this gap can be filled. But there is no, kind of keys that with this key, the gap will be filled. There is a process, there is a system, and you have to follow that system and process for economic change and social change. Sudden change is not possible. That's from my side.
Thank you, ma'am. Now the participants are in this group also. If someone have any questions, please raise your question. We know.
Manish, I wanted to make an observation for
Yeah,
Nisha.
please.
Yeah.
So, Nisha, this is actually part observation more than a question, but it will be followed up with a question. So,
Okay.
in the 90s, when Bill Clinton was president, and Hillary Clinton, who is a highly qualified lawyer, and in her very young days, she was also an activist, actually, a women's activist.
Okay.
She wrote a book called It Takes a Village to Raise a
Okay.
Child. And
Okay.
her understanding of obviously her understanding of raising a child comes from that women's perspective, that you need a lot of help from different parts of the household and
Yes,
different
yes,
people to bring up the child. Some will tell a story, some will reach the child to
yes,
school, some will cook
yes,
the child, etc. Right?
yes, yes,
Now,
yes.
the same Hillary Clinton, so that was that was mid-90s. The same Hillary Clinton, by the time she reached 2016, by which time she had also become foreign secretary and so on.
Hmm.
When she fought for elections on the day that the results were going to be declared against Obama, against Trump, she was absolutely certain she was going to win, and she was wearing a purple suit, and
Okay,
purple is the color of women suffragette, meaning when women were given the right to vote, that became the associating color.
okay.
So, of course, she didn't win. And
Hmm.
Hillary has to, I mean, we all know that she has also turned out to be very corrupt in ways that she's received money from Saudi kings, etc. Now, my question is that if women distort the process in this way,
Hmm.
where instead of creating equilibrium for women, equity for women, she actually
Hmm.
moves on to the extreme side of men. I mean, she's in some sense worse than men. Then how do
Yes,
you, right? So how do you, and then, and then,
that is example of Chanda Kochar in India. If you see the example
that's
of
it,
Chanda
right?
Kochar,
Right. So,
she has,
Nisha, don't you think that when you give examples of these wonderful women like Ela Bhatt and others, you should also give examples like this so that, women know the types, the typologies of women. Just
yes,
because
yes,
they're women
yes,
doesn't mean they're going to drive you towards social enterprise or social innovation. They could actually
right,
be the opposite of, women's empowerment. So, what do you
right.
say of that, Nisha?
Sorry, sorry.
What do you say? I mean, what do you say of that? How do you counter that?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. But there are very few example like Chanda Kochar and every time when you talk about that how women can go to extreme, very few examples are there like that. So generally, from if you see the context structure and the social structure, with if you see the Indian context, women are always in the side of suffering. Maybe because of the we always say patriarchal society, or maybe um, uh, different approach of society. Women are in the second position and they are not in decision making. So our structure and our literature start from this context. But of course, your query and what bothering you is equally important. One should look at this aspect also. We never we should not talk about only this perspective that women are in this side and they are only suffering and men are only there to create problem and to take a first seat. I agree with you. So certainly I will look at in this perspective
Okay,
also.
okay, okay. Thanks, Nisha.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ajanta ma'am, for your observation, and thank you for this response. Ma'am, one question came from the one of the participants, Padmaja Singh.
Okay, sir.
If I am a lay person who wants to start an enterprise, where should I go to ask for assistance?
Okay, so sir, nowadays there is a ministry of small, medium and small enterprise, and there are various institutes like EDI, NSDC, and these investors are there, social investors are there. So nowadays, starting business becomes very easy if you have idea, if you have passion, if your idea is powerful, uh, so you can get even a mentorship, you can get fund. It's very easy now. Even in IIT, we do have a sign in IIT Bombay, in IIT Kharagpur. Even all IIMs are now have a this kind of mentorship program. Even especially for women, there is a mentorship program. So lots of mentorship programs are there. Had I answered your question?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. And hopefully there is no any other question from both the platform. Thank you, everyone, for for your valuable presence in this 3-month part-time certificate course, Fundamental of Social Design, running in association with Department of Applied Arts, Faculty of Visual Arts, Banaras University, Michigan State University, USA, and Maryland Institute College of Art, MICA, Baltimore. And special thanks to Dr. Ajanta Singh ma'am and Dr. Anita Pandey ma'am for their valuable time. Thank you, everyone. We will meet you tomorrow at the same time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for listening me carefully.